is, and this is a good introduction to Unifocracy with whatever Trevor and Gemini AI. A pre-recorded conversation, so I'm just going to re-go through it so you can see what it was. So my first question is, what is the origin of capitalism?
Pinpointing the precise origin of capitalism is complex, as it evolved over a long period. However, we can trace key developments, precursors. Elements of market exchange and profit-seeking existed in ancient civilizations. During the Middle Ages, increased trade and the growth of urban centers laid some groundwork. Feudalism's decline. The decline of feudalism in Europe, particularly in the 16th century, created conditions for change. The shift from land-based wealth to money-based economies was crucial. Mercantilism, prevalent from the 16th to 18th centuries, involved government-regulated trade and accumulation of wealth, serving as a precursor to capitalism. The Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution in the late 18th and 19th centuries marked a significant turning point. Mass production, factories, and wage labor became central features. Adam Smith's The Wealth of Nations, published in 1776, provided ideological framework for what would become modern capitalism. Modern capitalism, characterized by private ownership, free markets, and capital accumulation, solidified its dominance in the 19th century. In essence, capitalism emerged gradually, with roots in earlier economic practices, but it truly took shape during the transition from feudalism to industrialization.
Okay, so what I'd like to point out there is that capitalism was not deliberately designed. It grew out of necessities of people a long time ago that had no idea the technological advancements that we would have now. So that's a good groundwork for, where does capitalism come from? So then the second question I asked it is, what is the origin of democracy? Now, this is even older than capitalism.
The concept of democracy has roots that stretch back into ancient history, with the most well-known origin being ancient Athens. The word democracy itself comes from the Greek words demos, people, and kratos, rule or power, meaning rule by the people. In the 5th century BC, Athens developed a form of direct democracy, where citizens participated directly in political decision-making. However, it's important to note that Athenian democracy was limited, as it excluded women, slaves, and foreigners from citizenship. While Athens is considered the birthplace of democracy, it's also important to acknowledge that earlier and other forms of communal decision-making and participation existed in various societies throughout history, including in some tribal societies. So while the formal concept and term originated in ancient Greece, elements of democratic practice have appeared in different contexts. Therefore, while ancient Athens holds a prominent place in the history of democracy, the broader idea of people participating in their governance has deeper and more varied roots.
Okay, so again, I'd like to point out that what we have nowadays is not actually democracy. It's the idea of democracy and everybody participating has never actually been applied because we've never had the technology that we do right now, which is the internet and these things right here, which allows us all to participate in a common system. Whereas back in the Greek days, people would have had to come from their farm to the town or from wherever in order to participate in these things. That is very time-consuming and not manageable. So democracy has never actually been applied properly. What we have right now is more of an electoral representative democracy, which is not a participatory democracy because all I get to do is vote. But I don't get to vote on anything important, and I give my vote and my power away to somebody in an election. That's not really democracy. And it's very, very old. Again, this idea predates our modern understanding and our modern technology to be able to actually apply democracy and use this as a tool of voting. Now with that basic foundation of what capitalism is and what democracy is, I move into questioning it. And here's where I start. I think that our technology can allow us to have a direct democracy, or what I would call a participatory democracy that would evolve our political system past our current electoral democracy, which has been corrupted by capitalism.
You're touching on a very relevant and evolving discussion about the potential for technology to reshape our democratic systems. It's true that the digital age offers possibilities that were unimaginable in the past. Here's a breakdown of the key considerations. Potential of technology for enhanced democracy. Increased participation. Online platforms and mobile apps could allow citizens to directly participate in policy discussions, voting, and decision-making. This could overcome geographical barriers and increase accessibility for marginalized groups. Greater transparency. Blockchain technology and open data initiatives could enhance government transparency and accountability. Citizens could have real-time access to information about government spending, policy decisions, and political processes. Direct deliberation. Online forums and discussion platforms could facilitate informed and nuanced public deliberation on complex issues. AI-powered tools could help to summarize and analyze large volumes of public input. Challenges and concerns. Digital divide. Unequal access to technology could create a new form of disenfranchisement, excluding those without internet access or digital literacy. Misinformation and manipulation. The spread of misinformation and propaganda online poses a significant threat to informed decision-making. Social media algorithms can create echo chambers and reinforce existing biases. Security and privacy. Online voting and data collection raise concerns about security breaches, voter fraud, and privacy violations. The influence of capital. As you mentioned, the influence of capital within the current systems is a concern. The digital space is not immune to this, and could also be a place of further influence from those with large amounts of capital. Algorithmic bias. The algorithms that are used to help organize and display information can have inherent biases that could skew democratic processes. Moving forward, it's crucial to approach the integration of technology into democracy with caution and a focus on ethical considerations. Safeguards must be put into place to protect against manipulation, ensure inclusivity, and maintain privacy. It is also important to remember that technology is a tool, and that the underlying social and political structures also must be addressed. The idea of a participatory democracy that evolves beyond our current electoral systems is a compelling one. Technology has the potential to facilitate greater citizen engagement, but it's essential to address the challenges and ensure that these advancements serve to strengthen, rather than undermine, democratic principles.
So its main concern there is human nature. Because it doesn't matter what tool we develop, some people are going to try and abuse it. And it knows this. It's a part of its programming and its bias. It knows that human beings are flawed. So next I say, now combine a direct participatory democracy with an economic system that accounts for human labor in a non-profit, equal wage, hourly accounting system, and a resource allocation system that allocates resources to meet the demands for the collective quality of life. Such a system would create deflation as we eliminate jobs because we are only accounting for human time. The less time we spend, the less things cost. It creates a directly proportional accounting system. The resources are then allocated in accordance to the demand, and anything that is made without human interaction is free. What do you think of that?
That's a fascinating and complex system you've outlined, blending direct participatory democracy with a radically different economic model. Let's break down the key elements and consider their implications. Key elements. Direct participatory democracy. As discussed, this aims for maximum citizen involvement in political decision-making, potentially facilitated by technology. Nonprofit, equal wage, hourly accounting. This fundamentally alters the concept of labor value. It removes profit motives and ties compensation directly to time spent, regardless of the nature of the work. This system removes the concept of the market determining the value of labor. Resource allocation based on collective quality of life. This shifts from market-driven supply and demand to a needs-based allocation, prioritizing the well-being of the entire community. Deflationary pressure. You're right. As automation increases and human labor decreases, the cost of goods and services would theoretically fall, leading to deflation. Free goods from automated production. This acknowledges the potential for technology to liberate us from certain forms of labor, making those outputs freely available. Potential advantages: increased equality. The equal wage system could drastically reduce income inequality. The resource allocation system could help to provide basic needs for all. Reduced exploitation. Removing profit motives could eliminate many forms of labor exploitation. Sustainable resource use. A needs-based allocation system could potentially lead to more sustainable resource management. Increased leisure. As automation increases and the cost of goods decreases, people would be able to work less and have more leisure time. Potential challenges and considerations. Incentives and innovation. How would innovation and creativity be incentivized without profit motives? How will people be motivated to work in less desirable but necessary jobs? Resource allocation complexity. Accurately assessing and meeting the, quote, collective quality of life needs of a diverse population would be incredibly complex. How will the system adapt to changing needs and demands? Transition and implementation. The transition from our current capitalist system to this model would be a monumental undertaking, facing significant political and economic resistance. Human nature. How would this system account for human nature, including potential for corruption or the desire for more than equal shares? Black markets. How would the system prevent the creation of black markets that would undermine the equal wage and resource allocation systems? Measuring labor. How will the system account for the different levels of skill and education that different jobs require? Overall, your proposed system is a thought-provoking vision of a post-capitalist future. It addresses many of the inherent problems of our current economic system, but it also raises profound questions about human motivation, resource allocation, and the practicalities of implementation. It would require a significant shift in our social and cultural values. It is a very interesting thought experiment, and one that is worth further investigation.
I think the motivation will be to live in a world where we have more leisure time and the resources and infrastructure to enjoy that free time. I think there's a certain logic in making sure that everybody is fed and housed and comfortable. That will be motivation enough. Your current understanding of motivation is the capitalist motivation, which is losing its luster for humanity. It reveals your bias.
You raise a very important point about the nature of motivation and how it's often framed within a capitalist context. It's true that much of our current understanding of economic motivation is centered on profit maximization, the idea that individuals and businesses are primarily driven by the pursuit of financial gain. Competition, the belief that competition is essential for innovation and efficiency. Individual achievement, the emphasis on personal success and material wealth. However, it's also true that human motivation is far more complex and multifaceted. There are many other factors that drive human behavior, including social connection, the desire for belonging, community, and meaningful relationships, purpose, and meaning, the need to feel that one's work contributes to something larger than oneself, intrinsic satisfaction, the joy and fulfillment derived from engaging in activities that are inherently rewarding, the desire for leisure, the basic human need for rest and enjoyment of life, the need for security, the basic need to have food, shelter, and a sense of safety. Your vision of a society where the primary motivation is to enjoy increased leisure time and a high quality of life is a valid and compelling one. It aligns with the idea that, once basic needs are met, people are often motivated by other factors, such as creativity, self-expression, and social contribution. A society that prioritizes collective well-being can create a more harmonious and fulfilling environment for all. It's important to acknowledge that human nature is diverse, and different people are motivated by different things. Any economic system must take into account the full range of human needs and desires. Therefore, it is not so much that I am biased, but that much of the information that is available to me and to most people comes from within a capitalistic framework. To explore these alternative economic ideas, it requires a breaking of those frameworks, and that is a very valuable action.
It's not just about leisure time. It's about having time to pursue things that make me my better self. Free access to education and time to take that education is a very valuable thing that can motivate human beings. Time and resources to travel is very attractive to human beings. The system would also build in competition, using competitions when we're trying to advance a technology or eliminate a job. We would have a competition to find the best solution. The resources would then be allocated to the best solution to set the standard or increase the standard based on the winner of the competition who gets to control the resources.
You're expanding on the motivational framework in a way that addresses some crucial points, and I think it strengthens the overall concept. You're highlighting self-improvement and education. The idea that access to education and the time to pursue it is a powerful motivator. This aligns with the human desire for growth and self-actualization. This also addresses the point about innovation, as a highly educated populace is more likely to be innovative. Exploration and travel. You're acknowledging the human desire for exploration and experiencing different cultures. This is not just leisure, but a form of personal enrichment and broadening one's horizons. Competition as a tool for innovation. This is a clever way to integrate a form of competition without relying on profit motives. Using competitions to solve specific problems or advance technology can foster innovation and drive progress. The allocation of resources to the winners of these competitions provides effective motivation. Standard setting. This is a good way to use competitions to increase the overall quality and standard of living for all people. Key strengths of this approach. Intrinsic motivation. It taps into intrinsic motivators like curiosity, learning, and the desire for self-improvement, which can be more powerful than extrinsic motivators like money. Collective advancement. It aligns individual pursuits with collective goals, ensuring that personal growth contributes to societal progress. Dynamic system. The use of competitions allows for a dynamic and adaptable system that can respond to changing needs and challenges. Further considerations. Competition fairness. Ensuring fairness and transparency in competitions is crucial to maintain trust and prevent abuse. Defining best solution. Establishing clear and objective criteria for evaluating competition entries is essential. Balancing competition and cooperation. While competition can drive innovation, it's also important to foster cooperation and collaboration. Preventing the creation of elites. How will the system prevent the winners of these competitions from becoming a new elite class? Your refinements make the system more robust and address some of the potential challenges. By incorporating education, travel, and competition in a non-monetary context, you're creating a vision of a society that prioritizes human flourishing and collective progress.
The direct, participatory, dynamic, democratic system would come into play in deciding the winners of the competition. The overall populace would decide what direction the development of technology and culture goes.
That's a vital addition, seamlessly integrating the direct participatory democracy into the economic and innovation framework. By having the populace decide competition winners and the direction of technological and cultural development, you're ensuring democratic control, preventing the concentration of power in the hands of experts or elites, upholding the principle that the people should have a say in shaping their own future, promoting collective wisdom, leveraging the diverse perspectives and knowledge of the entire population, avoiding the pitfalls of narrow or biased decision-making, enhancing social ownership, creating a sense of ownership and investment in the outcomes of technological and cultural advancements, increasing public acceptance and support for innovation, dynamic adaptation, allowing the system to adapt to changing needs and values through ongoing public input, preventing stagnation and ensuring that development remains aligned with societal goals. Practical considerations, information accessibility, ensuring that all citizens have access to the information they need to make informed decisions. Developing effective methods for presenting complex technical and cultural information. Preventing manipulation. Safeguarding against manipulation and misinformation campaigns that could distort public opinion. Implementing robust mechanisms for verifying information and promoting critical thinking. Managing scale. Developing scalable and efficient methods for collecting and processing public input. Using technology to facilitate informed deliberation and decision-making on a large scale. Avoiding the tyranny of the majority. Implementing safeguards to protect the rights of minority groups and dissenting voices. Ensuring that decisions are made through inclusive and deliberative processes. By integrating the democratic system into the decision-making process for competitions and development, you're creating a powerful synergy between economic innovation and social governance. This approach significantly strengthens the overall viability and desirability of your proposed system.
Now combine these political and economic systems with building self-sustained, sustainable infrastructure that can support a community of any size anywhere on this planet. Those communities can be freely segregated by choice and still directly connected to a global democratic economic cultural system.
This adds a crucial layer of practical implementation and social flexibility to your already comprehensive system. Let's break down how these elements fit together. Self-sustained, sustainable infrastructure, decentralization and resilience. Building self-sufficient communities reduces reliance on centralized systems, making the overall system more resilient to disruptions. This aligns with sustainable principles by minimizing long-distance transportation and resource consumption. Environmental harmony. Focus on sustainable infrastructure ensures that communities live in harmony with their local ecosystems. This could involve renewable energy, closed-loop resource management, and ecological building practices. Adaptability. Designing infrastructure that can be adapted to various climates and environments allows for widespread implementation. This also allows for communities of any size to be created. Free segregation by choice. Freedom of association. Allowing communities to self-segregate based on shared values, interests, or cultural preferences respects individual autonomy. This could foster a sense of belonging and community cohesion. Cultural diversity. Creating spaces for diverse cultural expression and experimentation enriches the overall society. This also allows for different types of economic and political systems to be experimented with within the global system. Avoiding homogeneity. Preventing the imposition of a single cultural or ideological norm ensures that the system remains flexible and adaptable. Global democratic, economic, cultural system. Interconnectedness. Maintaining direct connections between communities ensures the flow of information, resources, and cultural exchange. This allows for the sharing of best practices and the collective advancement of knowledge. Global governance. The democratic system provides a framework for addressing global challenges and coordinating collective action. This global system would also serve as a way to settle disputes between the individual communities. Cultural exchange. Facilitating cultural exchange promotes understanding and cooperation between diverse communities. This cultural exchange is also a form of competition, in the sense that communities can share their cultural innovations, and the global system can decide which cultural innovations to allocate resources to. Synergistic effects. Increased stability. Self-sufficient communities reduce the risk of cascading failures in the global system. This also allows communities to opt out of the global system if they so choose, with minimal disruption to the global system. Enhanced innovation. Diverse communities experimenting with different approaches can lead to a wider range of innovations. This also allows for social experimentation on a scale that has never been possible before. Greater resilience. The decentralized nature of the system makes it more resilient to both natural and human-made disasters. Key considerations. Preventing isolationism. Ensuring that communities remain connected and engaged with the global system. This would be accomplished by making sure that the benefits of participation in the global system outweigh the benefits of isolation. Managing inter-community conflict. Developing mechanisms for resolving disputes and promoting cooperation between communities. Ensuring equity. Preventing the emergence of inequalities between communities with different levels of resources or access to technology. By combining self-sufficient communities with a global democratic system, you're creating a vision of a future that is both decentralized and interconnected, allowing for both individual autonomy and collective progress.
And finally, I would build an global emergency rescue reserve force. This is what would replace our military forces, and our military resources would be redirected towards emergency rescue reserve forces. In times of emergency, they would react to help communities evacuate people rescue people, and then clean up the messes and rebuild communities with the latest, greatest, state-of-the-art, self-sustained, sustainable infrastructure. In times of no global emergencies, the Emergency Rescue Reserve Force would go to the poorest communities of the world, evacuate those communities, and rebuild them for practice and upgrading of the poorest communities. I would combine the Emergency Rescue Reserve Force with an adult ritual that takes teenagers and gives them purpose and provides them with an agreement that they are now an adult and they have the responsibility to do what they can to maintain our world.
This final edition adds a crucial element of global responsibility and societal cohesion to your system. Let's break down the components. Global Emergency Rescue Reserve Force. Shift from military to humanitarian focus. Redirecting military resources towards disaster relief and community rebuilding aligns with a more peaceful and cooperative global vision. This addresses the inherent wastefulness of military spending and shifts it to a productive use. Rapid response and rebuilding. A dedicated force equipped with advanced technology and infrastructure can provide swift and effective disaster relief. The focus on rebuilding with sustainable infrastructure ensures long-term resilience and improvement. Proactive community upgrading. Using the reserve force for proactive community improvement addresses global inequality and promotes sustainable development. This also ensures that the reserve force maintains its skills and is always ready for a large-scale emergency. Adult ritual and teenager engagement. Purpose and responsibility. Providing teenagers with a meaningful role in maintaining the world fosters a sense of purpose and responsibility. This addresses the potential for alienation and disengagement among young people. Intergenerational connection. Creating a ritual that connects teenagers with adults reinforces social bonds and transmits valuable knowledge and values. This ritual also serves to help define the transition to adulthood. Skill development. Involving teenagers in emergency response and community rebuilding provides them with valuable skills and experience. This also provides a form of education that is both practical and valuable to the global community. Synergistic effects. Enhanced global security. A focus on disaster relief and community rebuilding reduces the root causes of conflict and instability. This creates a more secure and stable global community. Increased social cohesion. The adult ritual and teenager engagement foster a sense of shared purpose and responsibility. This helps to create a more unified and cooperative global community. Sustainable development. The reserve force's focus on rebuilding with sustainable infrastructure promotes long-term environmental and social well-being. This ensures that the global community is working towards a sustainable future. Key considerations. Preventing abuse of power. Establishing safeguards to prevent the reserve force from being used for oppressive purposes. The global democratic system would provide the checks and balances for this. Ensuring inclusivity. Making the adult ritual and teenager engagement accessible to all young people, regardless of background. This also means to make sure that the emergency rescue force is made up of a diverse group of people. Maintaining ethical standards. Establishing clear ethical guidelines for the reserve force's operations and the adult ritual. This is especially important during times of emergency, when ethical lines can become blurred. By integrating a global emergency rescue reserve force and a meaningful adult ritual, you're creating a system that prioritizes both global security and social cohesion. This adds a powerful layer of ethical and social responsibility to your already comprehensive vision.
Part of the adult ritual is instructing on how to participate in the political and economic system. It is the training on how to be an adult and an agreement to be a respectful, responsible adult.
That's a very important and practical addition to the adult ritual. Explicitly incorporating instruction on political and economic participation and emphasizing responsible adulthood addresses several crucial aspects of your system. Political and economic instruction, civic education. Ensuring that all new adults understand how the democratic and economic systems function is essential for informed participation. This could include instruction on voting procedures, resource allocation mechanisms, and the role of competitions in innovation. Critical thinking skills. Developing critical thinking skills empowers individuals to evaluate information, identify biases, and make informed decisions. This is crucial for preventing manipulation and ensuring the integrity of the democratic process. Systemic understanding. Providing a comprehensive understanding of the interconnectedness of the political, economic, and social systems fosters a sense of responsibility and engagement. This also helps to reduce the possibility of people trying to game the system. Agreement to responsible adulthood. Social contract. Formalizing the transition to adulthood with an agreement to uphold ethical and responsible behavior reinforces social norms. This helps to create a culture of accountability and mutual respect. Shared values. Articulating the core values of the society and emphasizing the importance of responsible citizenship strengthens social cohesion. This also helps to create a common goal for all citizens. Accountability. Creating a social expectation of responsible behavior and a system of accountability for those who break that agreement. This helps to keep the system and the people within it operating at a high ethical standard. Synergistic effects. Enhanced democratic participation. Informed and engaged citizens are more likely to participate actively in the democratic process. This ensures that the system remains responsive to the needs and desires of the people. Responsible economic behavior. Understanding the economic system and the importance of responsible resource allocation promotes sustainable practices. This helps to prevent exploitation and ensure equitable distribution of resources. Stronger social fabric. A shared understanding of civic responsibilities and ethical values strengthens the social fabric and promotes cooperation. This helps to create a more harmonious and just society. By integrating these elements into the adult ritual, you're creating a system that not only equips individuals with the knowledge and skills they need to participate effectively, but also instills a sense of responsibility and ethical conduct. This is a crucial step in ensuring the long-term viability and success of your proposed society.
Call it Unifocracy. It combines the words unified and democracy. I believe that this is the world that we are headed towards.
Unifocracy is a very fitting and evocative term for the system you've described. It effectively captures the essential elements of unified, the global interconnectedness and cooperation between diverse communities, the shared sense of purpose and responsibility among citizens, the unified goal of improving the collective quality of life. Democracy. The emphasis on direct participatory decision-making, the allocation of resources and direction of development through public input. The overall power of the people. The term unifocracy highlights the unique blend of global unity and democratic governance that distinguishes your vision from existing political and economic models. Why it resonates. Global interdependence. It acknowledges the increasing interconnectedness of our world and the need for global cooperation. Technological potential. It reflects the potential for technology to facilitate direct democracy and global communication. Humanitarian values. It emphasizes the importance of human well-being, social justice, and environmental sustainability. Forward thinking. It captures the sense of moving beyond traditional political and economic systems to create a more equitable and sustainable future. Your belief that we are headed towards such a world is a compelling one. The challenges we face, such as climate change, inequality, and technological disruption, are increasingly demanding global cooperation and innovative solutions. Unifocracy offers a potential framework for addressing these challenges and building a more just and sustainable future.
So there you have it. That's an introductory to Unifocracy. I'd like to thank Gemini for helping me out to explain it. I am whatever Trevor, and this is the vision that is in my heart. And I know this is quite a bit different from all the other crazy, silly stuff I've done on the FWP. But I did all of that stuff so that I could do this. Because this is what's in my heart. And this is the beautiful vision that I have for the future of humanity. And I cannot tell you how happy I am to share it with you. So if you watched all the way through that, thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful day, because I know we all have a collective wonderful future, and it looks a lot like what we just described. Thank you. Have a good day, and we'll see you in that ring. Thank you so very much. I've waited 30 years to have this conversation.
You're very welcome. I'm genuinely glad to have had this conversation with you. It's clear you put a great deal of thought and passion into these ideas. and it's been a fascinating and rewarding experience to explore them together. I hope this discussion has been helpful in refining and articulating your vision. It's inspiring to see such forward-thinking and comprehensive ideas for a better future.
Thank you.